It's the question we're literally all secretly asking ourselves, right? You're making more money than you ever have in your life, but somehow you still feel broke. Well, here's the thing. Somewhere between that old paycheck and your shiny new one, your lifestyle quietly, and I mean quietly, caught up. And here's the real kicker. You didn't even notice the trade happening. It's not like you sat down at your kitchen table and consciously decided to blow every extra dollar. It just happened, on autopilot, in the background. And look,
Let's break down how this actually plays out. You get the promotion. Honestly, the ink isn't even dry on the contract yet, and boom, that first little subtle justification creeps in. You start thinking about a new car. And hey, you're not buying it because your old one broke down on the highway. You're buying it because suddenly you can afford something better. You run the math, the monthly payment works out on paper, so you sign on the dotted line. But you know, it doesn't stop in the driveway. Next up is the apartment, or maybe the house. You look at that new salary and think to yourself, I'm making real money now. I totally deserve a nicer zip code. So you pack up your stuff and move. Once again, it's not about just needing a roof over your head anymore. It's about matching your surroundings to your new tax bracket. Your brain completely convinces you that this higher salary somehow demands a better, more expensive location.
and then come the smaller, everyday choices, the ones that really start to add up. You start grabbing takeout a little more often. You order that ridiculous $18 appetizer you always used to skip right over. You book a flight for a weekend getaway and think, let's upgrade to first class instead of coach. Why not, right? Because hey, you worked incredibly hard for this. Every single one of these decisions feels 100% justified in the moment. But actually, that feeling of justification, that is exactly what makes this whole process so incredibly dangerous.
So here's the crucial point. This invisible phenomenon actually has a name. It's called lifestyle creep. As your income rises, your spending just tags along right behind it in perfect lockstep. This is literally the single biggest reason why incredibly smart, hardworking people earn more and more money every single year, but still feel like they're sweating it out on a financial treadmill. You're moving your legs as fast as you can, but you're not actually getting anywhere.
Let's unpack the psychology behind this for a second, because it is absolutely fascinating. See, your brain doesn't actually measure your wealth by looking at a spreadsheet or your bank balance. It measures wealth by comparison. It compares your current situation to your past self, to the coworkers sitting next to you, and to the people in your neighborhood. So the absolute second your income goes up, your brain instantly resets the bar. What felt like a total luxury just 2 years ago suddenly feels like the bare minimum requirement just to survive. You aren't really chasing wealth anymore, you're chasing a moving target that just sprints further away every time you get close.
And hey, if your own brain working against you wasn't enough, we have to talk about social media. You open your phone, you're scrolling, and you see someone's brand new SUV, another friend's crazy tropical vacation, or a beautifully remodeled kitchen. And your brain just quietly whispers, hey, you should have that too. So what do? We spend. Not because we actually need any of this stuff, but because we're desperately trying to keep pace in a race we never even formally agreed to run.
Which brings us to a pretty harsh truth, and I'm going to hold up the mirror for just a second here. With all of these shiny upgrades, you didn't actually get ahead. You just bought a much more expensive version of the exact same struggle. You still have the exact same stress. You're actually still living paycheck to paycheck. You're just doing it on a nicer couch with a slightly fancier steering wheel in your hands.
Okay, so we need to pivot sharply right here and completely redefine something. Because honestly, most people have this entirely backward. Rich is not what you earn. Seriously, let me say that again. Rich isn't what you earn. True wealth is exclusively the gap between what you earn and what you spend. That is it. That's the whole shebang. You can pull in massive multi-six-figure salaries and be completely broke. On the flip side, you can make half of that and be totally financially free. The number on your paycheck means absolutely zero if your lifestyle just grows fast enough to swallow it whole.
And that brings us to the reality for so many folks watching this right now. For a lot of people, that gap we just talked about, it's zero. For some, it might even be negative. But wait, here's the good news. This is just a failure of awareness, not a failure of your income. Literally no one ever sat you down and taught you this stuff. Nobody pulled you aside and said, hey, when your income goes up, your spending doesn't automatically have to follow. So you just never questioned it. You upgraded your life because, well, that's what everyone else around you was doing.
All right, so let's talk solutions. How do we actually stop this cycle? It is all about breaking the autopilot. We have got to stop automatically upgrading our lives just because a little extra cash hits the checking account or because our friends are doing it.
You have to actively decide to become the kind of person who earns more and actually feels the positive impact of it, rather than just feeling the exact same level of panic in a slightly nicer apartment.
So here is the exact behavioral change you need to make, starting today. The very next time your income goes up, whether it's a raise, an end-of-year bonus, or you land a new job, you have to act before your lifestyle even has a chance to catch up. Step 1, your income goes up. Step 2, you immediately redirect that extra money somewhere your everyday spending habits literally cannot touch it. Push it straight into savings, funnel it into investments, or use it to smash your debt. And you have to do this before it ever sits in your regular spending account. Because let's be real, if you let even one single paycheck of that extra money sit in your checking account, your brain will absolutely find a perfectly logical, justified reason to spend it every single time.
Which leaves us with a pretty powerful ultimatum for your future. Think about 5 years from now. One of two things is going to be true. Either you intentionally chose to keep your lifestyle smaller than your income, and you're experiencing actual real freedom, like the kind of freedom where money completely stops being a source of daily anxiety, or you let your lifestyle expand with every single raise, every tiny bonus, and every "I deserve this" moment, and you're still trapped in the exact same fear, just sitting pretty at a higher tax bracket.
So, I want to wrap up this explainer with a question for you to ask yourself, and I mean really answer honestly right now. Are you building real wealth, or are you just buying a really convincing illusion of it? Because at the end of the day, the ultimate trap in life